Greetings and salutations, my operators, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Oh boy, last time we have, for case number 9, the murder of Tobias Gregson. We have come to the conclusion, or the assumption, that he was murdered before the body was found. Obviously. Or rather, like a day before, at least. Due to the fact that we found his pocket watch dead at the time of discovery. And we have learned that he was investigating the, the League of Redhead. Oh, that's wrong button. There. Alright. He was investigating the League of Redhead Gentlemen, for they were running a scam. They charged 5 shillings for an interview, and they were going to flee the country, if it's not for the small one screwing up. Anyways, we learned that, during that scam, a personage was trying to pass off themselves as Tobias Gregson. Also, we learned that the Scotland Yard doesn't have photo ID, even though they have pictures. You think that'd be like an upgrade they already had? That's weird. Anyway, let's continue. The detective and the identification.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. And the next morning, we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison, really. Ooh-wee.
Oh, I miss doing these guys' voices. They're really fun. This is outrageous! You imprisoned the man!
But no, no! It was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. A couple. It was never part of my plan. I swear it. Oompa. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the day for the fair of the fairy wrong. My one little day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Per favore, capo. It's not fair.
You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen.
Oof. I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective?
Counsel for defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Cross-examination. The detective and the identification.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout.
Hold it! Do you realize what you're saying?
You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either.
Do you think?
But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was the first crime for the capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino. That is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind.
What about this hideout of yours?
An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the couple here. An impulsive idea, I would say. No, not impulsive. Inspired, couple? What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino? And it was in this house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it? Oh wait. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. That doesn't quite help though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you're right. But we couldn't be completely certain. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. Hold it! Too scared? Why? Because why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a there was a chance that he had seen Zurnay plans. Oops, that's probably. That was really delayed. And if that was a chance, and if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if he was just a flame to be the inspector, he was up to no good, without a doubt.
I think most people would agree that it's you two who were up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right. Couple? The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I asked myself the same question. We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address startled me. See, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said. What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Grayson playing at?
Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say?
See, we did. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. Hold it!
That being this identification book here, correct?
See, that is the one.
What made you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking it must be falso, couple? Wait, it's just as Peppino has said. We were convinced he was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all of the money. In for a penny, in for a pound. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. And the next morning, we let him go. Hold it! What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Oof. It was nothing, just a minor incident. The false expector, he was a real piece of the work, eh, Capo? What happened? Oomfa, it was a disaster. We give him a nice room, and what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, then and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Yes. Wait, you didn't. Shoot the man in your haste, did you? Oh, zoot! Or do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him again.
Oh dear.
And took him back to the room.
Excuse me.
Hey, he does have a childish voice. Mr. DeRossi, is something wrong? Hey, me! Something Mr. DeRousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Cavolo! At times like these, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from personal experience. Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the Red-Headed League plan to action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like a turbine. And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, Capo? Bruises, you say? Ah, interesting. Ah, you wanna see, you wanna see my, fantastico bruises? That is enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. Man, that's some jiggle faces there. Oh, cheeks. What to do, I show you or I don't? I show you or I don't?
You do! Now!
Allora, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? Is still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo, sometimes he is very rough. I says that's enough. Peppino's neck is nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have me word.
Yes. What is your opinion, Counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. DeRossi's neck, I wonder, does it matter?
It's very important. Mr. DeRossi,
I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Hey, Capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say.
very well. You will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. DeRossi.
See, if you really want to know. He tried to escape, but the capo put out the collar on him and dragged him back. Like what he did to me, see?
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by... See, a big collar made from the leather. A leather collar?
Is this true, Mr. DeRousseau?
What? We had a St. Bernard at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time, with a very strong chain.
A strong chain.
And you put that around your friend's neck. I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of the bed, though. I would not have tried to run again. I kinda doubt that. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people equal. Is the couple's here tomorrow, eh?
It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden.
The capo is a tough, but the capo is a rough. I shouldn't have done that, didn't it?
So, the following morning, when you released the inspector,
He had the red ring around his neck, just like me. Pepino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now. Now you know, Capo here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, he's not so bad.
alright. We got it.
Goes against the evidence.
Look at that clean neck. And you know who else had the red ring? Old Mr. Bomblet.
Objection!
So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not like that. He was already at prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only.
However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains.
What inconsistency is this, Counsel?
I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck.
But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have.
Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see the bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. Jerosi.
Indeed.
That is most peculiar.
But what we tell you, we say this from the beginning, many times. Oui, Pepino is right. The man in the photograph, he is someone different to the man we held captive that night.
Order! 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 It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself.
And we also know that the inspector made a note about the Red Head League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency is noted by the defense. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson, whom these two red-haired gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel?
The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruto. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie.
Yeah, they can lie sometimes.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Redhead League enrollment is revealed by the information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious!
Very tantalizing, Naruto. Mr. Naruto. So, why don't you help us all see whatever truth it is that you apparently see? Who exactly is this inspector that appeared before Mr. Rousseau and Mr. DeRossi?
An imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two redhead men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Rickson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There is no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Grayson's identification?
See, that's alright. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dark color. Undo Pepino! I was not so harsh as you say, So who was that falso inspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing as Inspector Grayson?
Take that!
Good me, isn't that? One of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with the police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not?
What has happened to his lips?
See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no?
Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead.
It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noticed something around the man's neck.
A red ring of bruising.
Yeah. Eh?
What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand.
Order! Order! Bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising, indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him.
Oh, right, I gave him like. I just stuck my tongue out my his voice.
Now what's going on here, eh? I always had this, eh? It's a birthmark, isn't it?
A birthmark, you say?
I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you.
Something about Inspector again? But I'm telling you, you got it all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it?
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mrs. Rousseau and Mrs. Rossi. I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice?
We are in bigger trouble, eh, Capo?
That's quite enough. Dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. With the testimony. The inspector and the identification revisited. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man.
It's like, see, you think we would forget these grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-haired league. I'm all over the world, me. I'm no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Huh. Disguise, eh? It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, There was no need for these pointless testimony. Ugh.
That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be on something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Miss Naruto.
Cross-examination. The inspector and the identification revisited. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man.
Hold it!
So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never before seen lips like these. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prize collar. Mon Dieu! With your words, it is like you tried to wring my neck.
It doesn't look really much like my neck, though, eh? No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and not to die for, eh? They broke the mobiles, eh, maybe?
For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Wait, c'est ça. I swear it by the flames of my hair. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it?
It's like, see, you think we would forget these grand lips,
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either.
That is what I am not saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know, I never seen the hair as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I'd never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See, maybe he's a national trait, Maybe all the people from this man's country have, big land lips.
No, man. I was born right here on Center Street, and I never left.
That is the problem, see.
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip?
No, every time do what you say, I never leave Center Street, alright? I'm not interested in any red-head league.
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Redhead League, have you?
You don't get the name like gossip for nothing, It's my business to know what's going off in town. I saw that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just being honest, I even got shadows to cough up for it.
Well, it does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows?
But as you can see, my whole hair's not got a hint of red in it. In any case, Center Street's my part. You won't catch me sighing off to some other part of town. No, sir, not likely.
Excuse me.
Mr. DeRosso. Wait. Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day, when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Redhead League, yes? I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip, with a housing agent? Wait, he had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms.
No, you must be mistaken, chum. I never lost Center Street, me. Like I said before. You're mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face.
No, the capo is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes.
With notes?
Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No, this man, he lied. He tells you he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Bone. Huh? He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see?
No!
Well, that's quite reveal.
I'm a peddler of tempest of information, like I said, on Center Street, and that's that. I don't much like folks talking about my personal life.
Indeed. And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Isn't it? Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial. Assuming no objections?
Objection!
Well, I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep and significance to this case. Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asogi? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never! In what capacity?
Hugh Bone? the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I thought that might be the case, eh?
So your real name is Hugh Bone?
Well, just between us. I would like to bone meal in Tempest, but there's no fine parallel of Tempest in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet tunnel.
You do?
And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Light Street. I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Hey, if either of us is a vulgar, is not a me.
Think again, Peppino.
Why didn't you bring this up before?
It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tippet peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuck.
You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Bone.
If I must.
So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for, since the body was discovered, has been in here under our noses all along.
I went to the room where the fellow was found. It's true. But what difference it makes?
Hold it!
So, you live in that room, presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then, why do you want to rent it? Why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should really have to say. Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Really? I feel like it's pretty major. Then, how about the noseboard there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to.
Ah, no, that boy's not mine. The factor must have brought along. It's only the other bits and balls that belong to me. The desk, the chair, and that.
Oh. Interesting. Mr. Bone? Or should I say Mr. Vigil? Mr. Daly? Oh, his hair's the same. How did I not notice this? That's an impressive makeup one. And eyebrow job. Great. Oh. Yeah, I guess he has like ruffled like the edges of his eyebrows. But the face is the same. He somehow gave himself a butt chin. People don't generally carry enormous nose boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room?
Well, honestly, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to me that Mr. Gossip, Mr. Bone, would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man.
I'm all alone in the world. Me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that?
I think I present the photo of Mrs. Vigil here. Wait, do I have that photo? Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Objection!
If you have no kinfolk, as you put it. They explain why is that among the sparse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room.
Oh,
I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you. Does it not?
well.
Mr. Bone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are.
I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother me. Please, just leave me alone.
Sir, a man died. We literally cannot leave this alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable, kissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean? Yes, counsel. What do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Bone's lips is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Bone? Good! Witness! Are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be.
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Bone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no.
Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler, who simply goes by the name Gossip on the street? One Mr. Daily Vigil.
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil.
Yeah.
I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective, asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two Red-Hat League men. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence.
No, Now just you hold on, man. You don't have the first idea.
What I'm talking about? Really? Is a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off the disguise.
No, please.
Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash bowl at once. Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain the witness. I don't think... Wait, my lord?
See, my lord.
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
Ah! No! Stop! Get off! Don't!
Wow. Ah, there's. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Oh, wow. And they gave him a suit. Unless he had that underneath, that'd be weird. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court. Have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but...
See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary! On the day of the Redhead League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi in the park, was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all? Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago? So where did Mr. Hugh Bone come from? Bone is... the other me. Is a name I invented. Well, evidently, there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment at Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. The times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand to selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know my failings, which is why I never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Bone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's That's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler. I transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine.
I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. But that explains it.
But why on earth didn't you just tell us that in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound so conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decide to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I made such a terrible mess of everything.
Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 16 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort, despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson.
What?
Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented bone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, Inspector, that is, recognized me one day.
Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him.
A secret? What was it?
I was to impersonate the inspector.
What? Impersonate him?
We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me.
Visit Orxies tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress.
There's always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially.
A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquish his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That's I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him?
I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up a croaker.
In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him.
So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really...
Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my bone disguise, then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. So he didn't seem to have a motive for murdering them, then.
Assuming it's all true. But if Grayson was his cash cow, he wouldn't have killed him. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. At the hands of these two red-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector. Ow.
But no, that can't be. Ow. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Oh, my goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. What? Ah!
Order! 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 Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Azuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time.
10 years ago? The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi.
I want to know exactly what your involvement was.
Oh.
Answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel?
Kazuma. You're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma. No wonder he's acting this way. His vicious memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments. His own father. I know. I do understand that. But even so...
Kazu. Prosecutor Asogi. Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. Oh, I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten?
I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. but for some particular reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Miss Naruto? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time. I have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know.
The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection.
Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean.
When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, the fragile spirit may finally be crushed.
But I really don't. Kazuma-sama.
But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to.
But should I?
Should I present the evidence or not?
Do it!
I have no idea how this is going to go. But this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago.
Ah, well, yes.
In other words, you claim to have left the position of chief warder at your own volition.
Well, yes, of course. Why?
Tell me, do you remember seeing this document before?
No. No, I don't.
This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? The name of the notice, the name on the notice, is yours, Mr. Vigil.
What? What? Oh, it's mine?
So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay.
No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it?
If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison.
The 17th of June?
What was that? The professor's execution?
Professor...
As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings.
It does sound familiar.
And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave.
The convict came back to life?
In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness.
However, the witness claims that a few moments after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes.
Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder, Daily Vigil? I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil?
Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane.
What? What? Order! 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 Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh, my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost.
Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Loki Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there.
The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was concluded by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigation team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderous execution as a way to help him escape.
You did what?
I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
I'm sorry, Daly. This is a serious business.
But can I help you know? As Chief Warder, you're responsible for overseeing the execution of 4, eh? Well, it seems the fellow at the Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over.
He jumped out? Order! Order! Bailiff! Fetch a doctor at once! Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued. Oh, it was a part 2 investigation. 2nd November, 3:38 p.m. Shom Suite.
I still can't quite believe what just happened. I know. I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned. And it seems Mr. Vigil was taken to the hospital to recover.
Right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret. Not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder?
Luno!
Oh, Iris.
You're miles away. Anyway, I brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you.
Oh,
Thank you. And you and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh. Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you.
do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When we came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared.
Oh, no. I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Glickson's death. Well, you know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. For the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else.
What does that mean? I mean, we just broke a man earlier, so...
He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him.
That's so true.
But that's what I like about Hurley, after all. I suppose that's the lot of a great detective in some ways. So then, let's have tea, and then I'll give you a hand. Oh, do you have time, Iris? Yes, I finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You know, I always hide Hurley's violin in the days I have before our deadline.
You do? Or Mr. Sholmes?
I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation.
Okay, I actually think I'm gonna call it a day there. Because I don't think I'm gonna get through, or it's gonna be unsatisfying to get through one of them and then like not continue on. Ooh, man. So that's where he was hiding. I feel like a fool not realizing they had the same face shape. I do wonder how we're gonna solve the mystery of the professor's escape. Because it is like a massive conspiracy. And does seem to be leading to Scotland Yard effed up a lot. So I'm pretty sure he's not even the real killer at this point. In fact, the real killer might have been Van Zeke's brother, a member of the aristocracy who, with a strong sense of justice, killing the corrupt. That's my leading theory right now. I don't know how he did it with hounds. That's a mystery. From what they told us. Well, mechanical hound. Oh. But we shall see. Until then. Thank you everyone who joined me today, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.